Well, this is Basis News, a very serious one, and this is an update on events which happened last July. Now, what happened last July were a number of things. Of extremely important witness waited until her three daughters had grown up, so they were out of harm's reach. And she made a lot of statements. We got about 12 hours or so of her. I'm talking about Sophia, of her experiences and her accounts of down underneath, baby farms in southern Africa, human trafficking and trading along the River Thames and other waterways. In fact, she identified on a recent article, in a very recent article, only a couple of weeks ago, in a certain newspaper, I think the Sunday Mirror, about a UFO situation, and there was a name mentioned in there which she was familiar with. I don't want to say much more than that. Now, the latest news on Sophia suffered a collapse about 2 weeks ago, and she lay in a very, very bad state, breathing very, very poorly for almost 2.5 days before neighbours and her daughter managed to get the police to break the door down and gain access and get Sophia to hospital. Now, Sophia had been breathing so poorly that she'd actually started to necrofy. She'd actually started the process of dying while still alive. Now, she's gone through she had to have a full blood transfusion. A lot of toxins had built up in her body, and she had been released from hospital. And we've been talking on the phone, and tonight I've now been informed, that's just Friday night, that Sophia has had to go back into hospital. So our thoughts are with Sophia, and with deep and considered thoughts on Sophia as she's now back in hospital, a fine and courageous woman who waited a very long time to tell her story. And this indicates the seriousness and lethality of the war that we are in right now. March the 1st. This is the Basis News and a bit of a blog on the 1st of March 2022. Now, 10 days ago, a very serious incident happened. In fact, almost 2 weeks ago, a very serious thing happened with Sophia. Now, Sophia gave a considerable amount of testimony for Basis 1, going right back to her early experiences in Reading, which were initially, she actually initially gave reports to the police about snuff movies and trafficking and a whole pile of stuff which is really, really bad about certain institutions and certain popular personalities. Now, that led to her having to leave the country and go on a run, and she gave statements about that in Basis 1 with extensive information about what goes on in Reading and a lot of the country, if not the entire country, if not the entire social structure of the planet. Now, what happened was she waited until her children had grown up, and she gave her story in detail in those extra sections added to Basis 1, because it involves a lot of the topics involved in Basis 1, and it also involved topics which were raised by James Casbolt, which he made just before he went to jail to his friend who was putting him up prior to and during the initial stages of his trial. Now, those statements involved making films and the killing of people under instruction for the purposes of films and other terrible things, which were then, this then led to an investigation, which was then buried and dismissed about the whole situation there. After that, there was another individual who came through after Sophia spoke, and she spoke twice at Basis 2021 in July at the Barge Inn. That was just before I think I was deplatformed on YouTube, and with the Whole of the Bases project going back 25 years, deleted. Yesterday, she's explained to me today, March the 1st, that she didn't go into hospital, she didn't go into theatre the day before because we're waiting for the antibiotics to work. And she's in a local hospital here in Wiltshire. Now, what happened with that was that last night she started to bleed profusely and was taken to emergency theatre to deal with that situation. So that's the situation we're dealing right now with Sophia. When these people come to give their truth, to speak what they do, they are risking their lives. And a lot of really bad things have happened over the last 24 years, 25 years, going back to 1994. So a lot of bad things have happened. A lot of really serious things happening in the world right now. So I'm putting these videos out so you, the general public, can learn from them, copy them, keep them, because God knows what's going to happen to me, because there's been bad things happening to me. And a little bit of a few things we can mention, which I won't mention, because it involves directed energy weapons. And we do not know why Sophia collapsed. We do know that she collapsed in 2 stages. She went on her knees and then fell in the bathroom and was practically at a state of death, breathing very little oxygen for about 2.5 days, and that's not good. Sophia is fighting back, and we'll take it from there.